solving three-step equations with x's on both sides. So today is day 2 of our three-step solving, and today we're going to have x's on both sides of the equation. So we'll have an x on this side of the equal sign, and we'll have an x on this side of the equal sign. So it's kind of like what we did with the x's on the x's are like terms, except the like terms were always on the same side of the equal sign. Here, they're split up on opposite sides. Again, well, we want to combine those like terms first, but when there's x's on both sides, it takes a little more work. The strategy we will use is, I recommend always moving the smaller of the two x's to the other side. And what I mean by that is 5x is smaller than 7x. 5 is a lot smaller than 7. So I'm going to move this one over here. And the way we move something to the other side is simply by doing the opposite. So this 5x is positive. I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. That cancels. I'm left with 6 on this side, and 7x minus 5x is 2x. And of course I bring down the 4. Now again, we just have a two-step equation. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, gives me 2. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, gives me 1, because those cancel. Now, we could have done it. It is okay to move the larger of the two x's, so I could have moved the 7x, but let me show you what happens. If I move the 7x, I would subtract 7x from both sides. It gives me negative 2x. Now I have a negative sign to deal with over here. And now I could subtract both sides, 6 from both sides. It gives me a negative 2. So now I have two negative signs to deal with. And I would divide both sides by negative 2, and I'd have to remember that negative divided by negative is positive. So basically the difference between moving the smallest or moving the biggest is that when you move the smallest x, you keep things positive in the equation. When you move the largest x, that's usually going to cause us to end up with a negative number that we have to keep track of. And eventually, we're going to solve equations that have inequality symbols in them, like greater than, equal to, less than or equal to, greater than, less than. And then there are special rules when I have to divide by a negative that we could just avoid by always moving the smallest. So my advice is I would always move the smallest of the two. Let's try the second example. Here my two terms are negative 5x and negative 4x. Negative 5 is smaller than negative 4. Think the more negative a number is, the smaller it is. So I'm going to move negative 5x to this side. And the way I do that is do the opposite. So I'm going to add 5x to both sides. And you can use the line that we learned before if you wish. Those two cancel, leaves me with a 6, which is positive, remember, because anything without a symbol is positive. Negative 4x plus 5x is just 1x. And it's okay to leave that 1 off, just call it x. Then I would subtract 4 from both sides. I get x is 2. And again, moving the smaller of the two x's just keeps things positive. Example 3, I've got negative 4x over here and 2x over here. Negative 4 is smaller than 2, obviously, so I'm going to move the negative 4x term by adding 4x to both sides. Those cancel, the 10 stays, and I have 82 plus 6x. Now I'm going to subtract 82 from both sides. Gives me negative 72 equals 6x. I divide both sides by 6. And negative 72 divided by 6 is negative 12. Remember, a negative divided by a positive is negative. So the key today is, you're going to have two x's, but they're going to be on different sides of the equal sign. We need to combine them first, and we need to move one of them to the other side to do that. And my advice is you always move the smaller of the two. This one has a 1 in front of it, this one has a 6, so this one is smaller. So I'll subtract x from both sides. This negative 2 stays on this side. Those are gone. 6x minus 1x is 5x plus 38. And now I would subtract 38 from both sides. I get 5x equals negative 40. Divide by 5. I get x is negative 8. Fifth example. There's my two x terms I need to put together. This term is negative 5x. This one is negative 3x. This one is obviously smaller, so I'm going to move that to the other side by addition. Negative 5x and positive 5x is 0. The 7 stays, and it's positive, because without anything in front, it's positive. Negative 3x plus 5x is 2x. Bring down the negative 3. Now it's just a two-step equation now. So I move addition or subtraction first. Then I divide both sides by 2. I get x is 5. Now for the last example, my two terms are negative 5x and negative 7x. So negative 7 is smaller than 5. So I'm going to move that term over by addition. I just have a 1 left over on this side. This side is 12x plus 1. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. I get 12x equals 0. Divide both sides by 12. And again, we had this yesterday. 0 divided by anything is 0. So 0 is a possible answer. A lot of people think when you get 0, that means no solution. And that's not what it means. X equals 0 means if you plug 0 into the equation, it makes it true.